Welcome back to the Pit Stop Ranch. In this video, we button up some last things on the carbs and get them all mounted down and the rest of the fuel system plumbed up. Take care of a few other loose ends and we're good to go. Went over to our friends in the early Ford store in San Dimas, and they were kind enough to sell us at a fair price. Not a steal, but certainly they you know, took pity on our miserable souls. We picked up this carburetor. It's got the base is free. It is missing a linkage here, but we got the parts carburetor, so it's not a problem. Yeah. So that's the next phase of this video is getting. I'll go ahead and rebuild this one off camera, and then play musical parts with pull parts off this carburetor, and share it amongst all three to get the combination of bits and bobs we need to run this beast. Okay. Swapping floats and float seats between the two, because I want to put this top on the carburetor I just took that one off of. This being the crunchier, crustier, older one, or unrebuilt one with a damaged base, and this one coming off of the fairly decently rebuilt one. So I'll put those parts over there. Then we will check the float level, because that's super important. So we have this adjustment data, and we need to measure this and make sure they're closed. We're at 1 and 11/30 seconds. There. Now I've got it that way. And from this way, it's supposed to be 1 and 7/16. Now, the measurement stick is in 30 seconds. So that'll be 14/30 seconds. Which I'm going to take that as pretty darn close right there. So, this top is now ready to go back on the carburetor we're actually going to use. Okay. So this is the replacement carburetor we got, and looking down the snout, it is a AA-1 style, which uses a different nozzle bar for metering the fuel in than the 2100s. And this here is a 2100 style, and like I said, this is not. This one here needs rebuild, the best I can tell. For which you saw the broad strokes of in our last video on this engine, when I attempted to rebuild the other one. It's just tear down, clean, and reassemble with new gaskets and parts. So I'm not going to bother boring you with that on this video. I'm going to do this rebuild real quick. Find it interesting. This float looks brand new, hardly used. So someone obviously rebuilt this and then likely didn't use it much. Yeah, we're going to continue with the tear down and clean up. So, yeah. Anyways, point being, just thought I'd do a quick little update on this. So as I'm taking it apart, as I find interesting things, I will continue to do that. Okay, another interesting thing. The accelerator pump coming out of this carburetor looks completely unused. However, the rubber is so hard and solid, it's obviously been sitting a very long time and has dried out, and I expect will not work. So we will be replacing it. You know, we've got 3 kits to replace it with, so no big deal. It's just an interesting thing to observe to me. Okay, I have disassembled the parts carburetor so that I can show some differences between the AA-1 and the 2100. And according to instructions, the primary difference is these two. The way the fuel gets metered in. Now, this has a central air bleed. This does too, but it's a fixed. This is adjustable. And that is how the air is, the fuel is drawn in. This has some, it still comes in down the middle. The difference is how the vacuum or the air pressure is done it, and how air bleeds and emulsification occurs. Okay. Next step is we're going to have to plumb it all up. It's not 100% clear exactly what the original pieces were on this. It looks like it's got a seat inside each one that fits standard tapered fitting. The thread pitch is perfect, but it's a little bit loose, a little bit wiggly. And then you got to hope that the seats inside there are up to the task, will seal against the taper on the threaded portion. I'm going to go ahead and use some thread sealing tape to hopefully provide 2 ways for it to seal. Obviously, the main seal or preferred seal is the taper, but assuming we can't get a good seat on there, the seat inside the carburetor itself is messed up, we have sealed threads. Now the trick with this, with what I'm doing, I don't want to over tighten it because I fear that the soft pot metal of the carburetor, the zinc or whatever it is, isn't going to hold threads very well. This center one has been heel coiled already, so someone has actually had fixed those threads. Okay, we have our standoff for the fuel pump. We got a really good deal on this because it has one stripped out hole and another one that's a little goobered up. So I'm going to go ahead and fix these and then toss this on the engine, and yeah. And then we can mount the fuel pump and plumb the fuel pump up. Okay. Thread repair is in. You've seen me do it a bunch of times before. Same process. Threading it using the tool. Use a little dab of red Loctite to glue it in. And we've got fixed threads. So we're good. That's ready to get installed. Now, I picked this up at the early Ford store. And it's a case of, well, he was out of one's in great condition. And I was quite frank that I'm perfectly fine fixing threads, and so he was happy to sell me this for a really good price, really cheap, about a quarter of what good ones go for on eBay. And once again, you know, if you got working on an early Ford, the early Ford store in San Dimas, California, they got a website. I'll put it in the description. Great place to get new and used parts. Give them a call. Let them know what you need. They can set you up pretty good. If you are in the area, stopping by, talking with the guys there, they've forgotten more than I'll ever know. So definitely can encourage you to all to go there and check them out yourself. Okay, much like the 8BA race engine, we got this copper tubing to go ahead and run this fuel line. So probably not the best choice, but it'll work. What we want to do is we want to go ahead and put a simple flare on the end of it. We have Eastwood flare tool. Give us that flare. All right, first one is made. Goes here. Okay, so then we need to make one just like that one right here. On the 8BA, we have the outlet here in the front of on the front of the head. But we have it right here. So we either got to make sure it curves up below or try and bend this down so that but I'm not going to decide that exact thing right now. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one here on there. So and like that, we got that. Next step, I think I want to connect these two. So go ahead and make that piece. Okay. Now these flare tools or flare fittings do allow for some bit of misalignment, but now we need to go make this one here. All right. Well, as you can see, it made it a little bit long, but still looks good if you ask me. Okay, we got here is the push rod for the fuel pump. Looking down there, there's a small opening that slides right into. It's a bushed. Make sure the bushing's in. This one, the bushing is there. Has this little thing on it to deflect oil. And it goes down to the crankcase. Thusly, we have our paper gasket. And of course this goes on here, thusly. But I think we need to put the fuel pump on first. Well, we're getting this thing a lot closer to running on the run stand. That should be coming pretty soon in the next little bit. I hope you got something out of this. I do like the way this all looks. I think it's very sharp. Would be nice if these were shorter, these legs out, but that is a limitation of the flare tool I am using. They do sell short. They're called swivels in this style, but they don't sell it in this size, at least at my preferred hardware store. So I have to make my own. I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Until next time, have a carb-tastic day.